Hi there, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about off-site, staying off-site when you're in Orlando, aren't we?
Yeah, and anything kind of associated with like off-site, so maybe places to eat.
Pros, cons, places to eat, like you say, places to stay, anything kind
Location,
of related. Yeah.
Just anything and everything. So
yeah.
It's quite a discussion, also a discussion that people have quite a lot, like on-site, off-site.
It's a good discussion.
And I think, I mean, a start for 10, although if you follow this channel, you will see we do stay on-site on Disney and at Universal.
We do class ourselves as off-siters though still,
don't we? For many years, we purely did off-site for our first trips. And I would say we still would as well, and we still do.
Yeah.
So really this was just a chat about...
In fact, actually, as this video goes up, I think we will actually be staying in an off-site villa.
Yes.
So we like a nice mix, but we do still consider ourselves off-siters. So we will be talking to you all about that. By the way, welcome to our channel if you are new, and thank you for coming back to us if you are a long-time follower, subscriber, whatever you want to call it.
And if you are new, please subscribe. And hit that notification bell as well, so you get notified of all of our new videos.
We've been going to Orlando together since 2007. This is about to be our 13th trip, isn't it, together?
13th to Orlando. Or 13th
to Orlando?
US, just Orlando.
Yeah,
okay,
just Orlando. Yeah, we've done other
US trips as well.
Yeah. And we've been going since the children were 5 and 7. They are now older and adults. So we've kind of done a little bit of everything, haven't we?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people go, that you go with, well, even on your own, couples, families, young families, older families. I think we've kind of done...
We've ticked all those boxes,
We've pretty much done a bit of everything. So I feel we've experienced what a lot of people possibly would experience.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can give you some sort of advice. Some things, if you followed us before, we may well have mentioned previous videos, but we haven't done one of these for quite some time. So I think it's always worth just to doing a little bit of an update, because our experiences have changed as well.
Definitely. But yeah, so we started out we always used to stay off site. We were talking about this just before we started filming actually. The reason we picked our off-site resort for our first ever trip was because we were getting married and we wanted to find somewhere where we could actually get married at the location. It was a bit trickier in those days. There wasn't quite so much choice, whereas these days I think it's a bit easier to find places.
Yeah, I think it was more, we wanted convenience, didn't we?
With two little ones as well.
Nice, but convenient. So it wasn't like having to be here, there, everywhere. And really we found the resort through wanting to get married, really, didn't we? So you found it, didn't we? So
and we went back there for quite a few years later, but for us it was, like you say, the convenience. We had two little ones, a 5 and a 7-year-old. We wanted space, and I think that's the thing with staying off site. You get so much more space for your money, don't you? Whether it be a villa, whether it be, like we did, it was a condo, so it was like a huge 3-bedroom. The square footage was larger than our 4-bedroom house here, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's. I mean, the 3-bedroom. It was massive.
Yeah. But it was ideal because kids could kind of keep in a bit of a routine, and then come bedtime, when they were shattered, they would go up to bed.
We still had space, so we still had literally a whole apartment, balcony, lounge, our room, kitchen. And we still actually even had a spare room as well, didn't we? Which I know when your dad came, he stayed in for a few days with his wife. So it was perfect. And also the other thing was the cost.
That's what I was going to say. Budget
is the fact of difference. I mean, I know, yes, that was 2007, but in comparison, I would say that is still the case.
Definitely.
I think it
you think we've got this villa now compared to staying on site? We've got a week on site. And then 2 weeks in a villa. There's a massive difference. And we're staying in a great big sort of 7-8 bedroom villa. Yeah. With games room, cinema room. Yeah, there's a huge difference. But again, I was going to say, actually, I've got a few things I've marked off. When you're traveling as a group as well, having that space, or having somewhere like with us going into a villa and there's going to be 8 of us, It's so nice. It's lovely when we're going to be on site at Disney because we've all got a little bit of space to do our own thing. But we do want to be in the pool together. We do want to have the evenings together, don't we?
Yeah, and I think you also find out what works for you as well, because everyone has their own thing they like. So, of course, like last time when we did this with the family, we had our own pool in the villa, but also we were on site, so it wasn't like
within the resort.
Within the resort, so it was still a resort. So the great thing was there was a bar there, so we had the best of both.
It did close at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, okay. but it wasn't like if you've just got a villa from a private villa that literally there's nothing there.
True.
It's a purely sort of residential. So we had the ability to enjoy it as a resort.
Had a pool as well.
This was also what we loved about where we used to stay at Bahama Bay, and we would stay there. We stayed there a couple of years ago. It's a resort, so you've got your own space, you've got your kitchen, you've got everything you need. But it's a resort. There's a bar. We could go and grab wings by the pool or pizza by the pool. There were 2 or 3 pools as well.
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
I think you've also got someone there at reception. So any issues,
that's very true.
You can deal with. So that is one, I think, brilliant thing with what we've done, and the same with the villas where we stayed last time and this time. I think, am I right saying is it a managed?
Yes.
I mean, in most places you'll get a contact, don't you, for a pub? But if it's a private one, it's often a private management company who aren't on site.
So it might take a little bit longer. So like when we were staying, like you're right, at Bahama Bay, our safe locked with all our things in it. And
someone was straight out.
Yeah, straight away. Or we've had problems with, I don't know, whether it be, I can't remember.
Hot water.
Yeah, and somebody's straight there. Whereas you're right, if you're staying like in a private villa and it's a management company, it could take a day or two for somebody.
I think one time we'd gone into Bahama Bay and was it the tumble dryer washing machine wasn't working?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
These things happen, but it was dealt with. I think within less than a day, we'd actually got there, and I think we'd come from being on site, and we had all our washing to do.
True.
So, but anyway, so I think when you're choosing a villa, or even where you're staying, because I know there are hotels that actually offer these. Is it the Buena Vista? There's some resorts. The Buena Vista.
I don't know the names of them, but some hotels have
like because I know friends have
they?
stayed there and had when they've had like teenagers, and it's been perfect because again, got your own space. The
thing is with a hotel though, because obviously hotels are an option, you can get some really, really good deals. Like when we've stayed at the Rosen Inn, it's costing like under 60 quid a night, and it's obviously no frills, but it's got everything that you want. It's got a pool outside, it's clean, it's got space.
It's got space, also had a fridge as well, and a microwave.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Yeah, so fridge and microwave. I mean, sometimes for that amount of money, there's places over here or in the US that you wouldn't get that. I mean, I think a fridge is an absolute must if you're staying somewhere.
Yeah.
For us,
especially
anyway, at least.
Especially in Orlando.
So, yeah, so I think the pros in regards to that is obviously space, isn't it, in regards to where we've stayed before, and budget.
Yeah. I was also going to touch on kind of locations as well, because I think that's a real big thing, because obviously one of the cons is a lot of the time you need your own transport. If you're staying at some of these places, you're going to be further out. You do need a car. So if you're wanting to stay off site, but you, for some reason, don't want to drive or you can't drive, International Drive is always a safe bet around that area, isn't it?
Yeah, can I just say something about those one as well? I don't know if you were going to go here, but it's also checking. Some resorts do offer shuttle services, but check what those shuttle services are. Were you going to come to that in a moment?
Yeah, eventually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because we stayed at the Grove, which was a lovely resort. Again, same kind of approach. It was a 3-bed, 3-bathroom.
Ideal for teenagers.
It was perfect, and of course, in families, you could have. If you had two families, if 2 couples, and they both got a child each, you've got the 3 rooms. You've all got an ensuite. You've all got a room.
Water park on site there as well.
Yeah, and one of the selling points was the fact. I mean, we had a car anyway, but it was shuttle service. We realised though there was it like 1 or 2 shuttles in the morning?
Were you?
And then one.
Wasn't it the World Cup? You and Louie were watching
the final. Yeah, we were watching the final of the World Cup.
Holly and I thought we'd go to Animal Kingdom on our own. Yeah. So it was like I think there was one sort of in the morning and then one at lunchtime. So we got the first one. But also bear in mind that they go round all the different resorts.
And also check where they take you, because where did this one take you?
It took us to an area near the TTC, the Transport and Ticket Centre in Magic Kingdom. So it didn't take us to Magic Kingdom. And from there, you then get your own transport. So we got dropped off then near the TTC. We wanted to go to Animal Kingdom, so we then had to get the monorail to Magic Kingdom and then get...
Did you have to go to a resort then? Or go straight to the...
It was...
Because you couldn't have gone straight to Animal Kingdom from Magic Kingdom.
No, we had to go to Magic Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah.
But it ended up, in the end, it just took so long. It ended up taking us... 2 hours in the end. Yeah,
which would have been a 16-minute drive.
Yeah, we looked it up just now.
And also, how far did you... Was that about 8 miles?
Yeah, it was 8 miles.
We actually worked out, I'm not saying you can walk it, but you wouldn't walk in that heat. But that you could probably, if you were a fast walker, walk it in the same amount of time.
It just took so long.
But to add to that, it was also the shuttle coming back.
Was at 6 o'clock.
Was at 6 o'clock.
That was the only one. And there was a family on there. They were from California. We got chatting because we were on the bus for quite a while. We got chatting with them and they didn't realise that 6 o'clock was the only one. Thankfully, you guys were picking us up after the football, so it didn't make any difference to us. But they literally had, I think, 2 or 3 days and they'd really wanted to go to Magic Kingdom and see the fireworks. They didn't realise that 6 o'clock was the coming home time. Basically,
check if hotels do operate shuttles. Just reach out and ask to say, well, do you have a schedule? Because they should do. I mean, obviously, when you get there, they'll have one. But even before you book,
just so you know.
Because great that they say shuttle service, but that really is not a great use to anyone. You may as well book Ubers.
I was going to say
be honest, that's the other option, which I know a lot of people do. You'd probably be better off booking an Uber.
Yeah, so just be aware. But if you're staying on International Drive, you have kind of got quite good facilities there, and a lot of the hotels you can walk to different restaurants. You've got good choice of chains on International Drive. You've also got the iDrive little trolleys, the little buses along there, and a general good bus service as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've never stayed on iDrive, have we? We know there's a lot of people that have, and they do like it for that, and like the shuttle services seem to be
really good.
Pretty good from there, don't they? So
yeah. So you could get to like Disney Springs and from there then go on to other places if you're wanting to get to Disney.
Yeah, and also like you said, as the choice of restaurants as well along there, there's quite a bit to see and do type of thing, isn't there? So
just a little thought actually, if you are wanting to use Ubers, we know from experience that when you're looking at, if you're looking for an Uber to take you somewhere, if the cost is huge amounts, a lot more than you're expecting, come off it and go back in again a couple of minutes later, because it can change that quickly, can't it?
Yeah.
It can look really, really expensive, but $60 could come down to $20 just a few minutes later. So don't sort of panic, just keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Right, what else are we going to talk about? Dining options. We've touched on that with iDrive and sort of being good for places. I think that's a really good thing with staying on site, off site.
Well, you've got the choice of place. Now, where we stayed at Bahama Bay, it was pretty close, fair to say, pretty close to the 192.
Yeah.
Now, that's going back many years when we first went, and that was, the 192 was busy then, but it's not busy like it is now. The last couple of trips, we haven't really done too much on the 192.
It's always chock, even 11 o'clock at night.
But it seems so busy now. So where we used to stay, it would now take us forever to get to. So location is really key, isn't it now? So personally for us, although we do go down the 192, we don't do it as much as we used to.
We try to avoid it these days, unless we're going there for a purpose.
But there seems to be some other locations that are kind of better suited, definitely for us.
I think as time goes on as well, you get new places come up. So like we've stumbled across Story Lake a couple of years ago, and that's become one of our favourite locations, hasn't it?
And for example, you come out of Story Lake and you're right onto Osceola Parkway, which takes you literally to the Animal Kingdom gates, which is almost, it seems like minutes.
It was, I think, door to door we did it in 7 minutes, and you're just going alongside the 192, so you can bypass that, so you don't get any of that traffic, and there's no traffic on there, which we really liked. But we do have the convenience of being near the 192. The 192, by the way, is a long stretch of road, and you've got all the restaurants, you've got hotels, you've got everything there.
Yeah, Walmart, Target.
Everything. It's cool. And lots of really good tacky gift shops.
So I think location is a real, well, for us anyway, it's really important.
Yeah.
Somewhere that's close enough, if you're doing parks, to be nearby, because if you're going almost sort of every day, you don't want a 40-minute drive or be stuck in traffic.
No.
You want to try and choose somewhere. So for us, Story Lake has been almost such a good find, wasn't it?
Such a nice name as well. But it's very near to Celebration, just so you know. From there, the other popular locations, we like Lake Buena Vista for a hotel. It's very close to Disney Springs, and again, you can get hotels there if you're wanting a hotel location. That again, you can walk to restaurants and places as well, can't you? It's really handy. We felt like when we stayed in a hotel in Lake Buena Vista, I felt like we were staying on site with the perks of off-site. It was that close.
So you're talking about Rosen Inn
Yeah.
here? Yeah, the Rosen Inn.
There's so many hotels around there.
There's lots of different ones, and people stay at different ones. I think International Drive has, well, they're almost everywhere,
Lake Buena
aren't
Vista
they?
to me, though, feels nice. It's so green. It's got beautiful trees. It's like a little pocket, literally on the doorstep of Disney.
And some people say there's a busy road by the side of it. But to be honest,
it's not busy in comparison to the 192.
No, exactly.
And
No, but what I'm saying, that people might say because it's noisy, because you've got the
you've got the I4, I guess, out the back, haven't you?
But
some of the hotels.
It's something that we didn't notice it, didn't bother us, kind of thing.
But
so
you've got Starbucks, you've got Olive Garden, IHOP. There's so many restaurants around there.
Well, even Rosen Inn, its own store that you can get cold drinks, food, microwave meals. I say 'cause there's microwaves in the rooms. Basically anything you would need. And I think it was open. Was it 6 a.m. to 12?
I think most of the hotels have that kind of thing.
But it was because we were arriving one time. It was really late, and it was so it was nice to see it. It was actually still open. So, but for something that's so cheap, I would recommend going there, because that's an absolutely.
It's very budget friendly.
Yeah, it's a very but also it's great. It's clean. It's got everything you want. It's basic.
I'd also say as well that staying off site I find more relaxing. You take your foot off the pedal. Like when we used to stay at Bahama Bay, it was so green. It's on like this beautiful nature park thing, isn't it?
It is nice, yeah.
And you just feel like you're in a little oasis away from the crazy of the parks.
I think with you, when you're on the park, you have this feeling you should be in a park.
I always feel when we're on site I should be doing something. I get so excited. I want to do the I was going to say barbecue, the campfire. I want to be roasting marshmallows. I want to be doing all the meet and greets. I want to be in the lobby just in case there's a character. I want to do the fireworks. I want to be on the monorail. I want to do everything. I just wake up with just such excitement. Whereas if you stay off site, you just take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah, I think and I think also, although this is just talking about off site, this is where I think the split stays for us actually really works. So no, this is talking of off-site. Like this time we are going, we've done it before, it's been the other way around. We've ended on site and we've done off-site to start with, or we've done something else first.
Yeah.
It is that mix, and you kind of know that if you're on site to start off with, you kind of, not that you do parks rope drop to close, but you kind of prioritise and thinking, well, we're on site, so if we're staying at Bay Lake and we're walking distance to Magic Kingdom, we make the most of that, because the following week we're not going to be there. So I think it really, for us, it works well hand in hand, doing a combination of both. And I know we're not the only ones.
But I just think, staying off site, you just take your foot off the pedal and you relax a bit. You've generally got, for a lot of places, you've got your own pool. And it just feels really, really nice, doesn't it?
I think having your own space is the big key when you're staying off site. So, for example, I know we said about the Rosen Inn. I think it is a great place, but you don't have a balcony.
No,
as such.
It is just a room.
It is just a room. Yes, you've got a pool area, you can go and sit down. So, but it's perfect for a few nights, or maybe even a week if we needed to. But there's other places like your own villa or other things that you have got your own space as well.
It's
I think
flexibility
that's important.
then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really what you want out of something, isn't it?
Yeah. I was also going to talk about some cons, some down points of staying off site. Things like transportation. You know, you very well may need a car to get around. Some places you definitely do. And
that saving you've made on staying somewhere maybe a bit cheaper.
Especially as car hire is so expensive now.
Or Ubers, if you're thinking of needing to go in the parks every day, it kind of just work out the figures really.
And also if you want to be in the parks a lot, obviously if you're staying on site you do get the perks, don't you, with staying on site, which you won't have staying off site. If you're staying on site, you don't have to pay for parking at the parks if you're staying. That's Disney. And I was also going to say things like extra hours in the park as well. You have things like that as well. But also as well, you're going to just spend a bit more time getting to and from places if you're off site, aren't you? That needs to be taken into consideration. Something I always say as well is when you go in hurricane season, which we're about to, if I was there during a hurricane, I'd want to be in a deluxe resort that is, the accommodation is attached to the lobby.
To the lobby, yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that I think my ideal would be somewhere like Wilderness Lodge. We stayed at Copper Creek and we were literally just a walk to the shop, just at the end of the corridor. So at least then you know that you've got staff there and you've also got access to food and drink and things. Whereas a lot of accommodations, hotels, you are stuck to your room. And I think, I mean, I'd love to hear from you guys that have been there during a hurricane. We've had friends, they've been unfortunate, I think, is it 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
And it is literally...
So I shouldn't lie, they're all okay, but...
It was awful though, speaking to them, and then they were like, oh gosh, we're going to have to stop using our phones, we don't know how long we'll have electricity for, and mattresses at the windows.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I just... It's not a funny thing because it's really serious, but I think we were on some of those trips, we were literally there either side, similar time to them, either we'd seen them the start or the end, and then they just seemed to be unlucky with it. So, but it sounds really scary sometimes.
It's so scary. Yeah, that would be awful. But I'd love to hear from you if you've ever been through that. And I think I would. I mean, obviously you can't choose. Disney would be my ideal. And I'd want to be in a deluxe because you have got the facilities there. Whereas a lot of the time, if you are in a moderate or a value, you're still
in
away.
Your room, aren't you?
You can't leave your room.
It's almost like that motel, isn't it? Your door goes outside. You're not connected to a hotel as such, are you?
Yeah. So if you can't if you can't go outside, you can't leave your room.
Yeah. I think there's also some other locations as well, and we haven't spoken about this one yet. It is obviously we've been talking obviously about sort of budget and keeping things sort of like cheap or cheaper, but there are obviously other locations and resorts. Like if you followed us for a while, we stayed at Reunion Resort, which was a gifted stay for a couple of nights, and again it was a house, a villa, but it was on a resort, so it was almost like, and I described this before when we were chatting, like a country club. There's a golf course there, very, very nice.
It was complete luxury.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to the restaurant, what was it? One of the restaurants, and it was on the top of the roof bar. There's a pool up there, and it was just. We
could see the fireworks.
So
Disney
lovely.
Fireworks
so
from there.
there's that still. So it's still the same type of thing. It's like Bahama Bay, but obviously on the other end.
Complete luxury scale.
Of the scale. So if you really want to treat yourselves, I think there's also choices of place, and that location was pretty good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really.
That's very good.
Very close by. Definitely. Formosa Gardens as well, as we're talking about location, that's a very popular area just off the 192. Also as well, if you are sort of staying in places like this, have a little look, maybe do some research for shortcuts to the parks as well, because lots of them you can get, like for example, you can avoid some of the 192, you can go on Sherburth Road, which takes you up to Animal Kingdom. There's lots of little shortcuts, aren't there? So have a sort of do a little bit of a Google and see where you are and if you can find some shortcuts.
I think if you're going as a family, we know it can be expensive.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive, and you want to enjoy things as much as you can. We, like as many people, work hard, save hard, and you want to try and have the best time that you can. And I think for us, staying off site was the perfect way to do it, because we could stay somewhere with plenty of room, wasn't a hotel room, and we actually, I think that really made our trips, because also like the kids then loved like the pool area, and some of the nicest memories were like grabbing wings by the pool or just being there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And
having the music on.
I mean, you could have that at a resort as well, but I don't know, there's just something about staying off site that does, it gives a relaxing feel, doesn't it? It kind of really does.
And I do like the flexibility, coming and going, maybe going to a beach or going to a different kind of attraction. When I do feel when you're staying on site, you feel like you need to be on site. It's got a pulling power. And I feel a sense of freedom, like I said, relaxation, you've got flexibility when you're off site. Yeah, do you think we've covered pretty much everything? I think
we have really. I mean, please leave any questions, comments, anything that you found by staying off site. Do you stay off site? Or are you just purely on site?
Our bachelor's bed.
Anything else that you can comment, please leave the comments below. So, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah,
do you think we've got time?
No,
I think we will.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. We can't wait to read through your comments.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. You were right, by the way. Bye.
Bye.